Hi, welcome to the Wired
and Rewired podcast all about the original HBO series. Sometimes I say original, sometimes I say hit. Original is what I'm feeling today.
Okay.
Original HBO series, The Wire.
I mean, it will never be duplicated, but nevertheless. I'm Chris, and this is my 1,000th time watching The Wire.
And this is Ellie. It's my first.
If you're new to the Force or a longtime veteran, we think you'll find something here to enjoy. Today, we cover Season 2, Episode 4, Hard Cases. I mean, if you say it without the proper gravitas, you're just not, you're not doing it. Yes, okay. Okay. And as always, we begin by popping a recap. Sabatka reprimands his nephew Nick for stealing the cameras and orders him to bring the cargo back. Too late. McNulty is on a self-assigned moral mission to identify his floater, but his old partner Bunk says they have a more pressing matter at hand, to find Omar to testify against a Barksdale triggerman in one of last year's murders. That is a long sentence. I mean, no run-on stuff, but that's more substance than I would have expected. In any case, to placate Valchek, Burrell asks Daniels to lead the detail investigating Sabatka, and Daniels agrees. McNulty, on his second moral mission of the season, begins courting his estranged wife, promising a new day and a new Jimmy McNulty. Still holding on to a shred of hope, McNulty signs a separation agreement. This episode was written by Joy Lusko. Joy Lusko, who also wrote Season 1, Episode 11, The Hunt, which, of course, is the one that followed Kima getting shot. Right. So, a very important one. And it was directed, again, by Elodie Keene. She goes back-to-back. Nice. She was the director for Episode 3. Premiered on June 22nd, 2003. Okay, well, let's hit the epigraph. Ellie.
If I hear the music, I'm gonna dance.
Yeah.
By Kima Greggs.
Yeah, and she just, I love that line. I'm sorry, I should have skipped around, but I'm going to, we'll just use the magic of editing that is to say not editing, but I didn't want to mention one thing about Episode 3 that I forgot. And in fact, I'm kind of embarrassed that I forgot it because it was a life lesson to me, and I was digging for stuff, and it was sitting right there. So McNulty, when he goes to see Daniels, and they're talking about kind of where everybody's ended up and how Kima is inside. And McNulty says, a house cat, that ain't her.
Yep.
I like that line a lot.
Yep.
Right? I mean, just knowing.
Not her nature.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's just a really good life lesson of just know who you are and know what you like.
Yes.
And don't try to force yourself into a situation, or at least evaluate if that's something you can live with.
Right.
And obviously in this episode,
it comes to fruition.
Exactly. So, yeah. Okay. So, all right. Well, we will get into that a little bit later.
Can I make a correction?
Oh, please.
For Season 3? Yes. I said Kunta Kinte was a Zulu.
Oh, okay.
Zulus are from South Africa. He was actually from the Mandinka tribe of Gambia.
Okay.
I just had to put that in there.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that. It's
okay, but somebody out there knows and is listening and said, oh, God, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate you covering us because I would have let that go for the end of time and not have been corrected. So good job, Ellie, keeping us ethical as best we can. Okay. Speaking of ethics, once again, I am trusting you, Ellie, that you did not look ahead.
I did not look ahead. I've not looked ahead. I swear I am watching these one per week.
Because she added a prediction. So she had 5. And she got 4 out of 5 correct. Woo. Some of them, some of them were singles in that they weren't particularly complicated.
Right.
But nevertheless, you get credit. I mean, a single still counts on the on base percentage and batting average. Yeah, so okay.
That's right.
So last week she said Tillman's involvement will be exposed. Of course, certainly got that right. Daniel's coming back to the detail. Now that was a reach.
That was a reach.
Because you did not know if that was going to happen.
But I mean, it had to happen.
Well, didn't have to. So, And so, get credit for that. Nick and Zig, bigger caper and things go haywire. So, not this we didn't see anything in this episode.
Closer, though.
Yeah, but now you can see some stuff seems to be on the horizon.
Yes.
Omar is back, and Bunk gets a beat on him. So, you get 95% because you got a police officer.
Yet.
Got it.
Yes.
Yes, but now McNulty is on his way. He's got the wheels in motion to catch him. Avon finds out, and Stringer and Omar talk. It does not look like it's in the cards. At least not. There's no indication that is happening. But nevertheless, you got the main thread. And then Jimmy will get closer to identifying the floater, but won't get there. So again, you did get that, nice and another bumper sticker for the surveillance van. So actually, no, that's 6.
Oh, damn.
So wow.
Oh,
okay. Well, good job.
Thank you.
Yes. So either the show is less complicated than I thought, or Ellie's just super good. I'm gonna go with the second one because I keep enjoying this. We're watching this, and I feel like I pick up more stuff every single time. So I'm going to go with that. Ellie's just good at it.
All right.
Okay. Well, before we get into things, any initial questions before we get started?
No, but I will say, the things are storylines are now starting to converge in this one, really. So like last time I had 6 different storylines I was following. Now it's like 5, and 2 of them come together at the end too. So things are merging. It's very exciting. I like it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah. All right. Well, then let's get started.
Okay. Well, the storylines I have for us are what I call prison blues. Okay. So we've got Dee, Avon, and everything going on with that. We've got Nick and Zig's bad choices, because now we've got another one. We've got the hunt for a Jane Doe and an Omar. We've got BBF putting on the pressure. And Daniel's gonna dance. All right. So let's start with prison blues, if that's okay with you.
Of course, yeah.
So we've got news vans outside the prison now. The warden is following up on the whole hotshot situation from the last episode. We find out that there was strychnine in the heroin, and reporters want to know how it got into the prison in the first place, and they have to give an answer because now there's 5 people who are dead and apparently 8 in the infirmary. And they say, what we need is an informant, and there's a guy there from the Maryland State Police. I don't know what his name is.
His name is Kevin Reynolds.
Thank you, Kevin Reynolds. And, he basically says, like, you will get an informant if you're willing to lighten sentences. So there we go.
Yeah.
Toxicology is coming back positive for strychnine, 10-12%. It's pretty well laced.
This was intentional?
Well, that's the ME's call. But I've seen street packages cut all the time with all kind of chemicals. Seriously, you don't use too much, you give a weak package some kick. People start thinking you high grade when what you got is stepped on trash with a little bit of rat poison mixed in.
Too much rat poison, you got people falling out like we got. Be nice to have 1 or 2 answers for those reporters.
What do they want to know?
How did it get in? What are you doing about it? The usual.
Got in like everything gets in.
Hey, you can't win the war on drugs in a prison. Where the hell are you gonna win it, I ask you?
Listen, if it were 1 or 2 dead, it would fade. But 5 in one night and 8 more in the infirmary, we need to show the flag on this.
What I'm gonna need is for y'all to wheel and deal.
What do you mean?
But this case gets made from an informant. And you're gonna have a couple of dozen of them, if you're ready to shave some years.
Yeah, not a lot of complexity to this.
Not a lot of complexity. Yeah, it took a little while for me to kind of catch on to who everybody was in there. And I did have to watch it again and be like, what are they looking at outside? Before I realized those were news vans. Yeah,
just a little that I saw. It sounds like Kevin Reynolds is a detective with the Maryland Correctional Institution.
Okay.
So that's why he's in a different uniform and all that. So he's the one who's going to investigate crimes that happened inside the prison.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and then, but of course, the line of how are you going to win a war on drugs if you can't keep it out of prison? I ask you. We'll put the line in, but it's just an incredible line.
Yes, so true.
Yeah,
so true.
Yep.
Yeah, back in the prison though, you hear some guys over talking about how the drugs were full of rat poison, and Dee is listening in. Somebody swings by, asks him if he wants a magazine from the guy who used to be his next door neighbor that he was talking to in the library. So of course we know that Dee is thinking he probably knows exactly what happened here. He goes into Avon's cell and he says, that if I was still using, that could have been me. How did you know? And once again, we see Dee is not being grateful in the way Avon thinks he should be. Avon's like, you should be thanking me. And Avon continues to say, like, it's not about what happened. It's about what you do to take advantage of the situation. So he's not copping to it at all. He's just moving on. He's like, okay, well, this is the thing. This happened. So let's do something about it. And tells him if we give him a name, if you be an informant, then you can lighten that sentence. Remember, in the last episode, he told him in the library that he was going to figure out a plan for that. But Dee says he considers it for a moment. You can see that he's paused. So? I do think that he pauses for a second and thinks about life outside of prison. But then he says, leave me out of it.
Could have been me the other night.
True.
Except for all of a sudden you up and tell me to stop doing that. Yvonne to the rescue. How'd you know?
I figured you was gonna be bringing your ass in here to thank me for pulling you off of that shit.
5 dead. More in the infirmary. How'd you know?
I did as your uncle should. Because I'm concerned about you fucking yourself up.
You knew.
Look, man, I ain't had nothing to do with it. I mean, I might could know who did, though.
You practically running this place. Who else could it be?
It ain't about what happened. You understand? It's about using what happened to our advantage. Play or you gonna get played.
I need to know, Yvonne, that you ain't do that shit, all right? That's what I need to know.
I already said it. You ain't gonna believe it. Fuck it. You could tell yourself that I spiked it, but be grateful that you still standing. And then once you done with all that, we can talk about how we start shaving some of these years off. And not just for me, for you too. Now they looking for the motherfucker that brought the shit in here, right? They need him to fall, and you know what? I can give you a name. I can give you the right name. We can take that name on down to the assistant warden, and we can get some of our lives back. You dig? So, stay close. This play on the inside, this play on the outside. We got it all covered.
I don't want no part of what you do no more. You hear me? So you can just leave me the fuck out of that. Whatever it is.
And so he does. It's just going to be Avon that's going to take that option. You didn't think that he thought about it? You think he's just like, doesn't want any of Avon's bullshit anymore from the get-go?
I don't think I think I read it as he came in with, he was just so angry.
Yeah.
Because I think that for him, Tay was, a friend of his, and so for him to be dead, we don't actually know if he's dead or just in the infirmary.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
But nevertheless, like whatever.
Yep.
Right. That Avon was responsible and is now essentially, he knows he's lying to him, or he is convinced that he's lying to him.
Yes.
And
can see
even,
through it.
I don't know, did you think that Avon's denial was convincing?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
All right.
Not at all.
Yeah, there's a tricky question about, since the truth, the question is like, how are you always skeptical? You know what I mean? Or like, whereas if you'd never seen this before, would that be a reaction?
Yes.
But yeah, I get this sense that he wasn't really trying to, like, I guess if you rewind all the way back to the episode, the second episode of the series when D'Angelo's saying like what happened to Gant, and he's like, if we had a reason, or if we didn't, we had a reason, and that felt a little bit like a better denial, or that is to say like a non-denial denial.
Right.
This one, it was just like, no, you can believe it or not.
Well, that's the thing though, is he does that, it doesn't matter what I say, you're going to believe whatever. Yeah. Right. You don't say that if you're
right.
innocent. Right. If you're innocent, you're like, I did not do this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's just,
Yeah. So in any case, so I guess that's probably why I didn't think that he actually considered it. I think it was more like, I don't know if I'm going to just completely speculate. It's like, okay, this is the break.
Yeah.
Like I am now just saying I never want to deal with you again.
Right.
As opposed to I'm considering your offer. But it's worth rethinking. Yep. I don't know. Like listeners, tell us what you think.
Watch that moment again.
Okay.
Tell me what you see in his eyes.
Sure, I will. Okay. All right. Well, let's keep going.
Okay. Well, Stringer is, down in the building where the drugs are being packaged, and a guy comes up. He tells him that basically it's too weak to cut it with stuff any further than it's already, what the situation is. And this is the stuff we know that they got from Atlanta, not the stuff from Roberto. And Stringer says, I got to get my money. And so my interpretation was he was just telling them to keep cutting it. Even though it's shit now, just keep on cutting it so that I can make my money. And he looks kind of frustrated, but this is how he makes business happen.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy sits down and gets to work.
Second package came in weaker than the last. Won't take a cut like it did before.
Oh, fucking Atlanta shit costs more, still not as good.
Came in at 25. All we can do is sprinkle it and bag it.
I'll lose my money. I'll lose my money. Step on that motherfucker.
I'll
Make it 10.
It's shit now.
Nigga, I know.
Yeah. So, did you catch any economics?
I mean, he
like-
was saying 10s, 25s. Like, I
Oh.
couldn't understand
Okay.
that.
Well, sorry. Let
aspect
me
of it.
explain
Okay.
then. So, I mean, but actually, it's connected back, right? So,
Yeah.
what the MCI detective was saying, if you cut a package with some strychnine,
Yeah. Okay.
So what they're talking about is like 25% raw heroin,
Right.
and 75% whatever else.
Yes.
And so 10% raw heroin, I imagine, does almost nothing.
Okay.
And so, in fact, I think if you connect what the bubble scene, which we'll talk about later, and he's like, "Are you feeling anything?"
Feeling anything? Yep.
So that I feel like is kind of the connection there.
Agreed.
So that's what Stringer's saying. Now, here's my. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, but he says later he has a midterm to study for.
Yes.
So he has not learned the term loss leader, right? Yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
What does loss leader mean? I don't know
well,
what that means either.
essentially. Oh, okay. Well, so God,
Educate
now
me.
and I am like flying without it. I'm like without a net right here. But a loss leader is something where you lose money on every sale, but you make it up on so the iPod.
I see.
The
Yeah,
iPod
yeah,
was a
yeah.
loss leader because they lost money on it,
Yeah.
but they made all this money on iTunes.
Right.
Apple did. So
Right,
that's the
okay.
idea. And so for Stringer, he knows he's putting out an inferior product, and he doesn't want to lose money for it, potentially for some time while he gets in order just to maintain his market share. So anyway, it's just an interesting question for him. He's just continuing to put out a weak product, and he has not learned how to deal with that particular scenario in his economics classes. So
Not yet.
Yeah, or
Okay.
maybe that'll be on the midterm, and then he
Maybe.
won't learn. So anyway, yeah. So but I totally had the same experience you did. I think in that, like, I don't know what is happening here.
Yeah.
And when he said, I lose my money, and he says, make it 10. And he's like,
Yes.
it's shit now.
Yeah.
That part, I was like, I think it took me a few watches to kind
Yeah.
of understand what was
Yeah.
happening there. So,
Yeah.
okay.
I had to break that one down.
Yeah. But I'm going to stop here and say, like, listener, I had this whole plan to not talk for as much as I normally do. And I'm just like, anyway. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to zip
got
my
strong
lip.
opinions. It's
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. Okay. Go
All right.
ahead.
Well, back at the
Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
Oh shit, Chris, are you serious?
I did have one other
Okay,
thing.
first off, you just scared the crap out
I'm
of
sorry.
me.
Well, that was just for dramatic effect.
Okay.
But I just completely forgot. But when Avon is in his cell, he's playing
Yes.
NBA Inside Drive on the
Yes.
original Xbox, which I just love because I was working at Xbox at the time when
That
that
is
came
so
out.
funny. Oh my
I
God,
just
you're
thought
like,
it
"That's
I was
my
like, I know
product."
that game. I know that game. Okay. All right. Sorry. Anyway.
Okay, well, back at the prison when he is not playing on an Xbox, Avon decides he's going to be an informant, right? And so we see him next with Levy, and they are negotiating a shorter sentence with the warden and the guy who's from what did you say his name? Kevin
Reynolds.
Kevin Reynolds.
Detective Kevin
Yes,
Reynolds. I guess.
Detective Kevin Reynolds. And it's very interesting. One of Levy's lines there, I mean, he's just his sleazy scuzzy as usual,
Totally.
but the line, until we identify the source of the drugs, there could be more tainted heroin, feels like a threat, doesn't it? Like, oh, I mean, if you don't get this guy out of here, I guess more people could just be dying from these, tainted packets of heroin. So, yeah. God, I was not happy to see him back. But damn, he's a good lawyer.
That's unfortunately the takeaway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah. That's pretty much. You got
Okay.
it. There's not much more to it, I think.
Well, Stringer is studying for his midterms, we see, and I didn't even notice it the first time that I watched it. I didn't notice it till the second one, where he has the sleeve of like what looks like Hall's cough drops on top of some, books or something. And he passes it to one of the guys there and says that it needs to be in the car, but not out in the open. Be subtle.
Yep.
Do you know what subtle means? What does he say as a response? I can't remember. Like, all laid back and shit.
That's it. Nailed it.
Be all laid back and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I need a sticker that says that. So anyway, so we, recognize that Hall's cough drop sleeve. So we know, oh shit, is now stuff's going to go down for Tillman.
Yep.
Right. It must be Tillman's car.
Yep.
I didn't pick that up until the second watch.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
I think because once you know what happens,
Yeah.
then it all makes sense. But
Yeah.
might not
Up
connect
until
the
that
first time.
point, you're like, oh, what is that all about?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Levy and Avon are now talking again to Detective Kevin Reynolds and the warden. There's somebody else there that I'm not sure who he is. The white dude, the old white dude that's there.
Yeah, I'm sure he's correctional.
Yeah, he's a correctional guy because he's the guy that says, the Department of Corrections says it's a fair deal as long as they don't it's a fair deal as long as they find the evidence that makes Tillman guilty.
Yep.
And so I think Avon and Levy leave, and then Detective Reynolds says, basically, I bet he's the one that spiked the packages.
Yep.
And the guy's like, well, we have to deal with what the knowns are, and this is what we've got. So this is what we got to do.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna answer for something.
5 will get you 10. That's the motherfucker that spiked the packages.
You have proof of this? Then we make the case that's there for us to make.
Yeah, no, and of course, 5 will get you 10. No, just
5 will get you 10. What is that? I feel like everything I don't know. 5 will get you 10. What does that mean?
It just means like I'll bet you $5.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
got you.
Yeah, that's a guy. So just I'll double your money essentially.
Yeah.
So
that's how sure I am of this situation.
Pretty much. And so it's interesting. I guess it's actually that it's just an expression is really what it means, but because ultimately, like Landsman earlier says, I got this against a 10, so he's holding up a 20. Oh. I got this against a 10, and so, but he's like putting his stake up against somebody else, right? And so, anyway,
okay, I get
so that's kind of what that line means. But I just love he just delivers that. The guy, his name is Leslie Elyard, who is the actor. He just delivers it with such conviction. I just love it. And
do we see him more in future episodes?
This is his last episode. Yeah, so afraid so.
Can this be your killer cameo coming up? Possibly?
He was in the last episode.
Oh, he doesn't count then. All right, never mind.
And of course, I've got somebody, but no spoilers. Even though Ellie's spoiling everybody.
I guess you're thinking about these things. Who will he pick?
But sorry, just a question. So.
Sure.
So Avon spiked the packages to set up this guy. I mean, it really is kind of incredible.
I know
how he worked this out. I don't know. I guess I mean,
clearly he's it's interesting because in the first season, I feel like you don't get to see really what it is that, besides his super careful nature and his connections, in the first season, you don't really see the brilliance that he has.
Yeah.
But in this season, this is where I feel like I see these other connections he has, how he is orchestrating things in the background. And I feel like in the first season, I thought really Stringer was the brains of the whole operation, and Avon was just the guy that, that happened to become in charge because of his family lineage and all of that. But I'm seeing here that Avon is quite intelligent.
Yeah.
And manipulating situations to his advantage. And that's how he got where he is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Tillman's coming back to his car in the parking lot. And then all the people that we saw before from, the Department of Corrections and Detective Kevin Reynolds, they asked to search his vehicle. And so they do. And what do you know? They're digging around. Yeah. And in Tillman's car, they find that sleeve of cough drops and look in it. And Tillman says, you all planted that shit. Mm-hmm. So he knows he didn't put it in there.
Right.
But he doesn't know how it ended up in there.
Exactly.
So he must not realize that he made an enemy of the wrong person.
Exactly.
In Avon.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I never thought about that. That's right. That's just going to be a complete mindfuck.
That's got to be a mindfuck. Yeah. Because you don't know does the Department of Corrections have something against me? Who's got some kind of vendetta against me? But.
I mean, and the crazy thing is I guess they could have just, I imagine that I was just going to say they could have planted that on any any guard's car.
Yeah.
But you would have to corroborate with that with he would bring the drugs in. He would get another informant from saying, who did you get your drugs from? And they would get somebody. So that would make sense. And, I saw him brought Halls. So,
exactly. I mean, that could be. Yeah. That could be.
Anyway, but it just for him, it just must have been how do you process that? yes, that is how I carry the drugs in, but
That's how I do
I have not gotten drugs, in the last week or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from? So,
Yeah.
just kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, back to Stringer, his guys are counting cash and he is again hitting the books. I don't know the name of the
Shamrock.
Shamrock comes in, it turns on the TV, and here we see that Tillman has been taken in from the news, but really no celebrating or watching that. Stringer's got to study. Stringer's got an interesting look on his face that he kind of holds for a moment there. And I don't know how to interpret it. Some different thoughts that I've had are just like, I don't know if like all this studying is making him think he is above stuff like this now, or if he's just got so much on his hands right now with the studying and trying to do all this stuff, or maybe is he thinking like, now that Avon's coming back, I'm not calling the shots anymore. I just could not figure out what that look means. What do you think it means?
God, that's a good question. I mean, so I wanted to ask you about that, but you tossed out so many different ideas.
I just couldn't figure it out.
So as we were going through this, I was thinking, for him, Stringer, he's got to be paying Butchie for the fact that they have now ruined this relation. They've got one of these guys arrested on Avon's behalf, so it's going to cost them money to now essentially make up for it, however much that ends up being. Who knows?
Right.
And I was like thinking about that. Like, I don't know how much Butchie was making per week.
Yeah.
But he says like 2 to 3 quarters a week. So however much Butchie makes. So I guess it's probably $250 or a couple $100 per package 3 times a week, so $700 a week. That's $35,000 a year that they have to keep covering for how long? Who knows?
Right.
So that's kind of, and I think that might have been where his mind was at. Was that like, things are already stressful for him with the package that he's putting out, and so now he's got to, okay, we took care of this problem, but now we have to pay for this other, to cover it, and I think that's where I was thinking. I don't think that I was trying to figure out, like, did he care about the fact that people were killed? I don't get that sense.
So, no.
Okay. I don't know. Which of your theories do you think is you feel the most strongly about?
I think he's just got so much going on now, like that he's balancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. It's just like, just kind of pausing for a moment, just taking stock of everything that's on his shoulders right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I did want to I felt bad for Shamrock because he came in and he was so proud of himself.
I know. It's like, I did
and
this.
then he's like, I got a midterm, and he just like walks out and he's all dejected. So Shamrock, I see you, buddy. You did a good job.
You did.
That was subtle
a good
as shit.
job
Good
at
job,
that
buddy.
terrible thing that you had to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so that wraps it up for Prison Blues, and I would like to now move into Nick and Zig's continued bad choices. Okay. So we start out, this is actually the first scene. Frank's looking out at the harbor. Nick comes over. Yeah, he's not sure why he's there. He's not happy about it.
Right.
He, it's kind of a funny little monologue that he has there for a moment about wondering why, Frank's going to call him out there. Anyways, Frank starts making the case to Nick about why they have to be perfect, why there cannot be any cargo missing, and basically that he knows Nick stole cargo, and we find out Frank finds out it's now too late to get that cargo, the cameras, back. Not only that, but he's pissed that his son Zig is part of it. And Nick kind of throws it back at him. He's like, you guys didn't steal stuff. He's like, we can't do that now. That was a different time. We have to be perfect now because people are going to take their business elsewhere.
Yeah. And
two, Nick's like, well, you're throwing money around. He remembers the thing that happened at Dolores's. And Frank says, this money isn't for me. You know that. And Nick admits he does know that. And Sabaka ends up forgiving Nick and basically tells him to not flash the money around.
Like you guys never stole nothing back in the day.
We ain't back in the day, Nicky. When's the last time you saw trucks backed up for 3 miles outside Patapsco Terminal? If it wasn't for the car ships, we'd be starving. The cameras come back. I'm serious. They come back today, we tell the shipper we lost a cannon of stacks.
They're gone. We turned them over already.
To who? You know the Dasco line's a cunt hair away from taking their business down in Norfolk? I don't need this shit right now.
I do, Uncle Frank. I need the money.
God damn it! You ain't hearing me!
What, you think this shit is easy, huh? You think it's fucking easy? You try living on 5 or 6 days a month, see how fast it puts you on your ass. I am on my ass, Uncle Frank.
You need money, you come to me.
Oh yeah, Frankie Sabaka's father fucking Christmas on the docks lately. No doubt his pockets are full, huh?
You think it's from me? Is that what you think, huh? It ain't about me, Nick!
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
You got Ziggy mixed up in this, Jesus, Nick. The fuck are you thinking? Me and Zig are gonna talk on this long and hard. Let's go to work.
That was, he's a he's a complicated character. He's a good man, right? Like he's like, yeah, you fucked up. All right, let's move on. I yelled at you. I'm done. Let's just do this thing. So next up, Zig and Nick are, I don't know. Did you want to say anything about that opening scene?
You covered it.
Okay.
I mean, I'll have more to say about Chris Bauer, the actor. But yeah, I mean, as you said, like, I think that the line that is really the most powerful, of course, is "You think it's for me."
Yeah.
And it's just really important for Frank for him to understand, or for us to understand, just that all Frank is doing, he's not pocketing anything beyond just like what he makes probably as a union head. Yeah. So yeah,
he's just trying to make this organization survive.
Yeah,
make
exactly.
everybody survive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So, but yeah, as you said, like, and the dynamic between the two of them, it just really, for Nick to kind of turn around and realize like he fucked up.
Yep.
And he wasn't able to see it.
Yep.
Past, because he's got these needs that he's trying to like satisfy.
Right.
And so the turn between the two of them, where Nick is like, what are you doing, Frank? Like, just mind your own business, Uncle Frank. And then he's like, I'm sorry. And then Frank's like, okay, I see where you're coming from too. It feels like they find some Daytona.
Trying to live on 5 days of work a month.
Yep.
Oh God, yeah, of course.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, it's a great scene. So
it is.
Not much more for me to add to that. So
great way to open up. So Zig and Nick are at Dolores's, or Dolo's, as I'm going to call it now. Nick gives Zig a big wad of money, warns him not to spend the cash or spread it around, and gives him a heads up that his dad knows and is pissed. Zig says, I'm just going to put a new clutch in the princess's car. Nick has the whole thing about the digital camera was great. Like Nick not understanding at all that there's no film and how the digital camera works, and Zig kind of schooling him on that. Of course, Nick takes off and Zig drops his drawers and takes a picture of his dick with the stolen new camera. So there you go. There's Ziggy in a nutshell.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, yeah. So
I love how everybody too was just like, Jesus, like it's just nonstop, just just putting up with this bullshit over and over and over again in this bar.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing, of course, is that Ziggy, like, I don't know, it's so crazy how he goes from like stressed out about his dad to taking a picture of his dick.
Yeah,
like. The guy just has no, he's got the memory of a goldfish. Yeah, I mean, a little bit. And then of course there's the little metaphor of the photo mart. You don't take it to a photo mart. It's like,
oh yeah,
nope. Digital cameras are going to end the photo mart industry entirely.
Yes.
And so just another industry that went by the wayside.
Oh yes.
So
I remember those days taking film in for 24-hour development.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't. Yeah.
No.
I mean, that was definitely back in the day kind of thing. But, the thing and then of course we'll get to the next scene, but like, how does Ziggy just commit to being smart with the money? And then,
later we see what he does.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's enough of that.
Okay. Well, it's morning time now. Nick and his girlfriend are sleeping in the same bed in what I assume is his parents' basement, because I know he lives with his parents. And he's got to get going early because there's a ship in the harbor that they need to unload. And she's like, well, you got to take me to go pick up our daughter first at my mom's house. And I mean, oh, hurry. And then he's just such an asshole. He's such an asshole, Chris. I just can't even fucking handle it. He tells her to leave out the back. And then she's like, got her shirt off. She's trying to put on another shirt on. He goes over and just grabs her boob. I mean, he's such an asshole.
Yeah.
He's so mean. And I just don't like him. I just want to punch him in the face.
That was not a good moment for him.
That was not a good moment for him in that. And I just feel so bad for her.
Yeah, I mean, it really, and his line of like, if I could fart now, I would. I was like, it took me a while to figure out what that line was about.
Yeah.
But he pees on the seat, and then I think he burps when he comes back, and then he's going to fart, and like just to be like.
And then he says his parents are decent people,
right?
And that's why she has to go out the back.
Did you thought that was literal?
I thought that was just an excuse that he's coming up with so that, to force her to go out the back, to just treat her like garbage some more. I don't know.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I got it more like he was, I think he didn't want to deal with the hassle of them, giving him a hard time. And
okay.
now that's the separate discussion, right?
With the family and all that stuff. Okay, gotcha.
Well, and not even that. It's more like, if they're judging him, he doesn't feel like being judged, so he sends her out the back, which of course is a ridiculous thing to do. Like if you have a kid together, I mean, God, but nevertheless, I don't know. I that's how I read it, but I think because I don't think he was. I don't know. But then again, my whole read on this entire series is I think I skewed more towards the main character being the hero, which which now is obviously not. Right. It's clearly not the case. So it could very well be he was just being a dick about it, and he didn't want to. Yeah. I mean, anyway.
I mean, it's a thing where it's like that thing where you feel bad, so you erode relationships so they want to leave you instead.
Yeah,
that's what he's doing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he's
let me just treat you like shit, so it's you that doesn't want to be with me and the other way around.
I definitely feel like he's trying to keep her at arm's length. Yes. No question about it. Yeah. I mean, and again, I don't know why I'm trying to be charitable to this asshole, but
don't be charitable.
I shouldn't
he's
be.
An asshole.
But if he's like, she said, I've got to rethink stuff. Maybe he's already kind of thinking she has one foot out the door. So but I don't know. We are overanalyzing. We're just skipping past the fact that Kristen Proctor, the actor, she's quite fit.
Yeah, she's quite fit.
And so the fact that she decided to she was willing to take her shirt off and was. Thanks. As a younger man, I just appreciate that.
Oh, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
Anyway, hey, we're going to get to this is not spoiling anything, but there's a director's commentary with some of the actors, and they spend some time talking about it, so I feel okay about it. So Ellie just going to kick me. This is the last episode we're going to do. So.
Okay.
Anyway,
yep. She's fit. Got it.
Chris, stop digging. Stop digging. Just get out of the conversation.
Well, Nick's in a good mood, and not because he just slept with his girlfriend, but because the doc has been busy.
Yeah.
And let's see here. He's coming along, and they see a Ziggy, and Zig is in a $2,000 Italian leather jacket.
Mm-hmm.
So he is not keeping a low profile. Nick is not happy about that, and the Greeks want to talk with them again.
Mm-hmm.
So Nick and Zig go, and they meet with, what's the name of the guy that owns the store?
George Gleekus.
Yes. And George tells them, Mr. Gleekus tells them that they would like some more stolen products. And Nick and Zig are like, we can't do that anymore. We sort of mess things up down there. But he says this time we want different items. They need metric tons of chemicals. And these chemicals are at the docks. And they say, how much? And he says, I can tell you how much I can pay you once I know how much there are that you guys have there. So this is not good.
Yeah.
This is not good. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they're going to do with those chemicals, but this is not like a bunch of digital cameras. No. And so it's like they're digging a bigger hole for themselves. Mm-hmm. And I'm scared.
Okay.
Let's see here. Nick is...
Sorry, can I just back up for just a minute? So I just want to make it... There was something that kind of caught me when they're on the dock and Ziggy comes up and Lala, who's driving the cart, says, "What are you wearing?" And Ziggy says, "I would have thought that an African American such as yourself
would have recognized this."
And I made a kind of a point about the last time using the N-word.
Yeah.
And I just feel like there's maybe I'm over-indexing, but I felt like the fact that he used African American, which is the preferred term, he treated the guy with respect. So it really kind of hit home for me that I think they're kind of separating based on not skin color, but rather kind of life choices or how you know what I mean? Like they're really separating. So I just thought that was kind of an interesting connection. And then of course, like Beatty drives that home a little bit later. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing. And then during the conversation with George Gleekus, Ziggy doesn't care what it's for. He just asks how much, and Nick is like, I got to think about it, which again, not that it really surprises anybody, but Nick is going to think things through, and Ziggy's like, give me money.
I know. Whatever you're going to do with it doesn't matter to me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay. Sorry to interrupt, but I just want to cover those before we get too far away from
Okay. Well, that's okay, because all we're getting to next is a surprise for dinner. I like tuna surprise, but that's just
What
me.
is tuna surprise?
It's like when you, I think that it's boiled noodles with
Okay.
a can of tuna fish and a can of cream of mushroom soup and frozen peas all baked together.
Okay.
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
And maybe some crushed Ritz crackers on top.
Oh, then there you go.
that
That's
just does it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, well, his mom says, why don't you go get your dad? Dad's at the bar with the horses, quote. So Nick goes to get him, and his dad appears to be betting on ponies. He's got, papers. He's keeping track of things. Anyways, they're talking a little bit about what ship is in the harbor right now. And Nick does, you get the idea that his father has done this work as well. And Nick asks him, you ever miss it, Pop? And Pop just says, wouldn't do no good.
Yeah.
We winning, Pop?
Nico,
You up today?
I was doing good, but this year, Gulfstream is killing me.
We'll go easy. That's my inheritance.
After 25 years, I am still ahead almost 7,000.
Pop, you really ought to let me take you up to Pimlico when it opens. Try your system out for real.
Too tempting.
Just once.
Saw that the Cape Spruance is over at Point West.
Yeah, we offloaded it today.
We double-told her down at number 4. Maybe 2 years before the dry dock closed up.
She still floats, huh?
Of course she still floats.
You ever miss it, Pop?
Wouldn't do no good. What's for dinner?
Tuna surprise.
So I'm not sure what's up with Pop, why he's not working anymore, but he did once, so.
Well, I got the sense that it was the same thing that McNulty and Diggs were talking about at the very beginning, about how their dads used to work in the factories over there, and that when they closed up, they got laid off.
But isn't Frank Sabaka his brother? His father's brother?
So his brother,
yeah,
that is Nick's dad,
yeah,
wasn't part of the union. He was
okay.
It sounded like he was working in the dry dock,
okay,
and was responsible for. I'm not sure what it means to double hull a ship,
okay,
but you're a steel worker or something like that.
Okay, so just whatever he did, that job doesn't exist anymore, and that's why it wouldn't do no good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't quite understand that.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I was like, why doesn't he have a job if he, has people that work, in his family in that industry?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure
it's
he
not
does.
the same industry. It
Right.
sounds like not enough the same.
Yeah. And I'm sure he must be doing something, or must have. I don't know. He might be retired now, but I don't know that I don't think they specify when he stopped doing that work.
Yeah.
Or maybe he worked all the way through. I don't know until he
Okay.
retired. But
Yeah.
in any case,
Won't do no good.
won't do no good.
Wouldn't do no good.
The actor's name is Robert J. Hogan, and I think he's terrific. He
Yeah.
doesn't have a lot of presence in this season. He does come back, but he's just so good. So I just want to call him out now.
Okay, well, he seems like a sweet man.
Yep.
Okay, back at the docks.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did want to mention one thing. He's not actually betting.
Oh, so I wondered if he was, because is he just pretending to bet?
Yeah.
Because Nick then does say, like, would love to take you to, I don't care, remember,
Pimlico.
Pimlico is horse racing, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I had wondered if he was just like going through the motions and just keeping track of when he thinks a horse, what he would have won. And,
Yeah.
Because he says he's like 7,000 up over X amount of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
Wow. That's
it's-
really sad. He doesn't have money to bet, so
little
he just
bit.
pretends to.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Well, so back at the dock, Ziggy hands. Who's the guy that's working there? Johnny?
Johnny. yeah.
Johnny.
Mhm.
So we have another Johnny. They couldn't like get a little bit more creative with the names again.
It's an excellent question.
Okay, Zig hands Johnny a paper. Johnny says it's a common name. Johnny says that those chemicals that Ziggy's looking for are not at the terminal, and they are at Fairfield. Oh, who works at Fairfield? Ott's brother-in-law works at Fairfield. Okay, so we got a beat on that. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that yet. Later on, we see Nick and his girlfriend. They're walking with their kid Ashley.
Wait, sorry.
That's
At the
fine.
end of that scene, though, Maui,
Yeah.
we get introduced to Maui.
Oh, right. The
So,
asshole, his
'cause-
bully.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
I mean,
his bully.
if you
Sorry.
wanna just talk about
yep.
that.
Yep. Yeah. Just, as Zig is walking back down the corridor, Maui, that's
Yeah.
his name.
Mhm.
He pushes his chair out right in the way of Ziggy. And then Zig spills coffee on his nice Italian leather jacket. And what Maui says, indicates that they all know that
Exactly.
these guys stole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think it's an important
Yep.
component because it's like you're ruining it. Not
Right.
just Frank sees
Right.
it, but also
Yes,
everybody sees
else
it as a
knows.
problem. So,
Yep.
yeah. And they're, and unlike, I think, with Horseface talking about taking vodka out of an already open container,
Yes.
these guys just boosted
They
an
took
entire
the whole
container. So,
goddamn container.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yep. So I think it's just, even though it's a small piece, it's just like,
Yeah.
you're kind of betraying everybody when
Yeah.
you steal.
Yeah, they all know.
Okay.
I can see why he was, bullying him.
I mean, I mentioned that also because there's an important part with Maui and Ziggy later that we have to talk about.
Really important.
Yeah. So,
really important.
All right,
Okay.
Continue.
Well, okay.
So Nick and Amy and
Nick
Ashley.
and Amy and Ashley are walking along. Nick lies that he has come into some back pay.
Yep.
And that he's, doing okay enough now that they can move in together, potentially buy a house, one that belonged to his aunt. It's a sweet moment. I'm still not turning sweet on Nick.
No,
I'll say
no.
that. He does seem to love his daughter. She's identifying the ships out there,
Mhm.
and Amy's happy with this turn of character that he's having.
Mhm.
Anything you want to share on that?
No, I mean, I think that this is the connection to the previous scene where, so first of all, Amy starts the whole conversation by saying, if you're
Yeah.
not getting enough hours, why don't you try think
Try
about
to
something
get a different
else?
job. Yeah. There's a lot of things you could do.
Yeah, which we've heard, we talked about last time, and of course
Yes.
that was reminiscent about Chardine talking to D'Angelo and vice
Yes,
versa.
yes.
So there was that. And then, I think the fact that he's going down this road, that's where I wasn't sure about him trying to destroy the relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know. This does make you think that he wants to make it work,
Yeah.
but
That's my,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's my sense of it. And then I have to give Kristen Proctor extra credit here because if you look at her face as she's now kind of filled with this hope, I don't know. It's a really subtle thing, but she has a smile on her face that there's just, it's very expressive. And I just appreciated that. So, yep.
Agreed. Well, let me see here. Ziggy is now at Maui's computer.
Yep.
And he is laughing. He's laughing so hard,
Yep.
and we only find out later while he's laughing. Because why is he laughing, Chris?
Oh, he satisfied the number one rule of all the internet. How fast does a penis show up on something? User generated content. There you go.
Yeah. Maui comes back to the computer later, and Zig's dong is just right there.
Yeah.
And he's not very happy about it.
Yeah, I didn't want to look too closely, but I'm wondering if that was a prophylactic like the first one, or if that was an actual dog.
It was an actual. It looks pretty realistic.
Yeah, but I loved Maui's response of "Get your dick out of my computer."
Get your dick out of my computer. I know. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, so good stuff there.
All right, well that's it for those boys.
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on to the hunt for Jane Doe and an Omar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, McNulty's back at Homicide. He passes by Rawls. He just looks so displeased to see him.
Yeah.
Bunk and Freeman are looking pretty displeased to see him as well. McNulty wants to see any papers that were pulled from the shipping container, but Bunk's like, no, you don't get to look into that, because Freeman's going to give him the papers, but Bunk says, no, not unless you get me Omar. I need Omar for the Gantt case. And McNulty says, I never lost him. And in that moment, I was like, oh, he's known where Omar is the whole time. Like, because he's kind of made it seem like he knew before, but he just wasn't going to tell him.
Mm-hmm.
And in this moment, I think, oh, he does know, right? Well, hang on to that. McNulty goes to evidence and finds a picture of the Jane Doe and her family. And then by looking at the picture, I think he's able to figure out what stuff is hers. And in that luggage, he finds a letter.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Can I keep going?
Keep going. Come on, yeah.
I'm trigger shy. Okay. Back.
Well, I'm sorry.
Okay, see, I knew you were gonna do it.
Well, no, I was gonna. I
Good.
No, you're right. You're right. But I do have a question.
Yes.
But I'm holding on to it.
Okay.
So that's I could have just not said anything. But anyway, well, here we are. Okay, so keep going after I've interrupted you so rudely. So
okay.
Oh wait.
No more.
I'm sorry. Okay.
All right.
For real this time.
Back at McNulty's apartment, the answering machine is full of messages he does not want to hear. There's one from his wife about his son needing to be picked up later so he can go to a birthday party. There's one from Bunk about getting Omar. One about a dental appointment he missed, I think.
Yep.
And one from Eileen Nathan herself, who is very unhappy. So he just looks, I don't know, he just looks like dejected.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I guess he doesn't stay that way for long. Next we see him leaving. He's in plain clothes and he's leaving a business card with a note. We don't know what it says, but he puts it on this burned out van. And then is that the same van from Omar's van?
I mean, I assume there might be more than one.
Yeah.
But,
Kids are passing by. He asks them if they've seen Omar. Not a word from them. They just stare at him and walk by silently.
Mm-hmm.
McNulty's then driving through the projects. And he comes up to some guys on a street corner. We see one of those guys kind of backs up a little bit and surreptitiously drops something in the gutter.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as McNulty gets out of the car, they all turn to put their hands on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But he says, I don't care if you have drugs. I'm just looking for Omar. And they're just like, forget you.
Yeah.
And they just take off.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a song playing during that. And I'm sure you figured out what it is. I was curious about it.
Well, there are 3 songs
Okay.
across this McNulty journey, and
Please,
I'll tell you now.
Share me.
So
Share with me.
so when he's at the van, it says he was really saying something. No, okay.
Okay.
Well, anyway, that I was trying to figure out their symbolism. That was by the Velvets.
Okay.
Then I Promise to Remember.
Yes.
Was playing this time by
Yes.
Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers.
Okay.
Which, and then when we get to Bubbles, Ruler of My Heart by Irma Thomas. So
okay.
I don't know. Those are the 3. And I was trying to
Interesting.
figure out if there's some symbolism about that, but without not too deep. But in any case,
Yeah.
I like the fact that the songs were prominently playing between each scene.
Yes, very prominently. So yes, like you said, McNulty then ends up, he passes by Bubs and Johnny who are getting on a bus. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
He follows them. And then later we see Bubs and Johnny walk out of a building and they've got their jackets are just like stuffed with stolen goods, like a Foot Locker bag and stuff. And McNulty tells him to get in the car. And he tells Bubs that he wants Omar. And he says, find Omar for me. And then I won't send you to jail for stealing all of this stuff, and that I need to know where he is, or I need some kind of a clue about where he is by Friday. So, yeah, and Bubs and Johnny are back. Well, I'm excited about Bubs. I'm not excited about Johnny, but Bubs, yes, any day.
What you get? Walkman. You know how it works, Bubs. You're gonna need to pay taxes on this shit.
Taxation without representation, you know?
I don't want much. I need Omar.
What, Omar?
You want us to wander around town looking for a crazy motherfucker with a shotgun?
Me go way back. It's a friendly thing.
He's a friend. You can find a motherfucker without us.
No problem. You show me a receipt for this shit, you're off the hook. Here.
Just keep it. Part of my tax.
Your tax is Omar. Need a line by Friday, Bubs.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny how they reintroduced Bubs in the season, right?
I know.
I love that he was wearing a tie.
Yes.
Just to class it up a little bit. That was pretty great. Yes. And then, I mean, again, what more can you say about Andre Royo? But they've got this close up on him in the back of the car. Well, first of all, sorry, let me back up. He's like, "Hey, McNulty, my maidest man," and he's got the plastic bag like hanging down from inside his trench coat. And he's picking stuff up. Yeah, it's just like I don't know, just like what can you say?
Yeah,
it's so good. And then he's sitting in the van, the back of the car. You know, and he just looks terrible.
He looks terrible.
And
his tooth missing.
Yeah. And, you know, he's like taxation representation, just like the whole conversation. And then I like Johnny's like, you want us to go around looking for a crazy motherfucker with a shotgun?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, just the two of them together. Just great. And then, of course, you know, but I don't know. Andre Royo he's in one scene, and he's not in one. He's in a couple. But that scene, he just like makes it exactly.
Passing him the Walkman.
Yep.
you know, here's tax.
So welcome back, Bubs. It's great to see you again. So.
We are so happy you're here. All right, Bubs and Johnny they're getting faded. Sort of. We can see that they got the drugs by giving a Walkman to somebody they call Pops. So Pops is putting on the Walkman. He's enjoying the music. And now in another part of what I assume this is like a crack house or something, one of Omar's new people one of
Kimmy.
the ladies, Kimmy, that's right. Okay. She is getting some info from one of the people in there on the location of a stash house. And so that, you know, woman is giving her some information, and then, oh my God, Bubs like gets up, drools, asks Pops if anyone knows where Omar is, and Kimmy overhears him.
Yeah.
Right. So she's like, you can tell she is thinking about what to do with this information.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have a sense that Omar is going to be finding out that somebody's looking for him, and that's might be not good for Bubs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Well, yeah, that's exactly it. So.
Well, McNulty is now at a Catholic church, and he is in the kitchen talking to a woman, and this woman is reading the letter, and she gives McNulty she's translating, and she's giving him some information about the letter. It's signed by a Nadia. Nadia has written a letter to her whole family. There's some indication that there's a child named Anya. We see something about a Saint Vladimir, Father Vasil. She says, look, this is common, you know, name where we're from, I assume Russia.
I think Hungary.
Hungary, that's right. It was Hungary. You know, this is really common where I'm from, and there's so many of them. But she says, you know, leave the letter with me, and I'll try to find out some more. So we've got now a name, at least, and somebody who may be able to get some more information. Back to Johnny and Bubs. Johnny is telling Bubs like the weirdest story. I could not even follow it, where somebody gets a period and then the father thinks she's raped, and I don't know, doesn't matter, because the story ends short when Bubs sees a radiator and says it would be good for some scrap metal, and Johnny's like, oh my God, we're not going to be able to lift that, we're going to kill our backs. And then we see Omar, and I think he says something like snitching Bubs. He's got a sawed-off shotgun and says, you be asking for me.
Yeah.
And that is
Yep.
Yeah. It's a very it's a moment with a lot of gravitas.
Oh yeah. So here's the question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think that Omar planted the furnace or the radiator?
Oh God. I didn't even think about that. Yeah. I guess, or he saw it there and needed and wanted to be stationed by it.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, that's probably it. Because I was like, how would he just be at that
just
spot?
be there. Yeah.
Yeah. But he must have known where Bubbles was hanging out. So just to back up a little bit, they use the term in season 1 when they're talking about Bird. They use the term shooting gallery.
Okay.
That I believe is where Kimmy and Pops and Bubbles and because it was heroin, not a crack house. I don't know.
Yes.
So I think it would be considered a shooting gallery rather than
shooting gallery because you're shooting up.
Exactly.
Yep, because he put a vial in his. Pops.
Yeah.
Put
So
a
there was
vial in
that.
They're not cooking stuff. Okay, got you.
Yeah, and so that I don't know that it would be super
guys,
devious.
I don't know my drugs very well.
It would be super devious of Omar to have actually planted the radiator, but I think he probably just saw it and decided to hang out for a bit.
Because it does look heavy.
Yeah, right. That's true. That's true.
Okay, well, McNulty's ex-wife loves her new headphones.
Yep.
They're going to be perfect for when she goes to the gym. We all know where they came from.
Yep.
She asks, did you have a lawyer look at the paper yet? And McNulty's like, yeah, the lawyer says don't sign it because, if I go to court, I'll get a better situation out of this. But he hands it to her and he has already signed it. But he says he wants to get back together. He doesn't care about the money. He wants to get back together.
Yeah.
So he's working some angles here.
Yep.
He's like coming through and, looking like and acting like a good daddy and a good husband. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, the thing that caught me this time was McNulty used Elena's tactic on her, saying, I talked to a lawyer and he said, blah, blah, blah. And
Good
she's like, well,
point.
that's what he said.
Yeah.
Like, that's your tactic, Elena.
Right. That's exactly
you do not
what
expect
you
it to
do.
throw it back at him.
Yes.
But so that one just kind of caught. But yeah, other than the fact that the head for the Walkman came from Bubbles, I just thought, it's a very subtle thing, but of course it's good.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
So yeah, I mean, and I think I don't know that we get closer to an answer. I don't know. What do you think about his motivation here?
I think he's like, let me just get my act together just long enough to get her back. I really just don't think that this is like lasting change for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you think that he's like, he legitimately wants to get back together with her? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he wants his life back.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
He wants to be back in the nice house and not his mattress on the floor in his scuzzy apartment and all that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I just wasn't sure if it was like he's any port in a storm kind of thing. Forgive the pun, but I just wasn't sure if like because he lost kind of his primary identity in being a homicide or murder police, he's now just trying to hold on to something that will give him some stability.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter that it's Elena. It's just, I don't know.
No, I think he does genuinely want to be back with her. I just don't think that he wants to make the sort of changes necessary to stay, to make her happy in the long run.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. So the final storyline, we are ready for it. It's my favorite one. Daniel's Gotta Dance. I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was just like, yes, make this happen. Make this happen. So Daniels and Burrell are like facing off. Daniel says, my papers are in.
Yep.
And we know Burrell is trying to make good on what Valchek wants. And Burrell puts together so much bullshit, like just on and on and on with the bullshit about why he wants Daniels to stay. It is amazing how quickly he can change. Okay, yeah, you're right. I don't like you. I don't think you're that good. I don't think that you're loyal, and I don't think I could trust you, and you're a snake. I mean, he just keeps going and going and going with it. It does not matter because anything he says, Daniels does not believe.
Right.
So who cares? And as soon as he realizes, that I think he at some point Daniels makes a connection, realizes that it was Valchek that wanted him. And when he realizes that that is what's going on here. This is where he starts putting in some conditions. He says make the detail permanent within CID, and that he gets to pick the people he wants. And we know who he's going to pick. He's going to bring the team back together. Yes. The moment I've been waiting for.
Yep.
So later, Daniels is in a meeting with Rawls, and he tells him that he wants Freeman, he wants Greggs, he wants Herc, which Rawls will approve, but Rawls will not approve McNulty. He says he quits or he drowns.
Yeah.
And Daniels is like, that bad, huh?
Yeah.
And so, he's not getting McNulty, which is a bummer, but I figured that he wouldn't.
Okay.
I figured that he wouldn't.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
Hang on. Let me just back up a little bit. So, one thing that caught me with Burrell's kind of speech to Daniels was, you're right. He just switches all, like he's trying to sell him on this. And you're a snake.
Yeah.
And
okay.
you're disloyal.
You're right. I don't trust you. You're not okay. So I really see you. But really, it's about this. I still think you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so. And then he said, but you seem to know your business. And I was like, the business of being police?
Yeah,
I don't get, like,
I know. It's so weak.
I don't know. There's something, they use that term. I don't know if it was just the writers being the writers, but I was like, I feel like they would have said, no, you're good police.
Right.
Like in Valchik says, I want a real detail with real police.
Yeah.
Like Burrell could have said something similar. And instead he just says that you seem to know your business. So I don't know if that means if there's something more laced in there. Yeah. I don't know. Do you have anything from you? Okay.
I don't have anything.
Okay.
Any more insight for
I don't know.
that?
But you nailed the other part, which is like, come back. I think you're a terrible person.
Yes.
And you're gonna stab me in the back. But please,
you suck. But come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Come on, do it for me.
Yes.
So, and I, but of course it was fun to see Daniels really be like, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do this. If we're gonna do this, you're not fucking me twice. So I appreciate that. So
yes.
And then we kind of closed on the Rawls thing. So I'm just like, Rawls his asshole level in this episode is 11. I'm like,
11.
dude,
it
like
is 11.
Rawls, it's just like, what the fuck, man?
We'll
like,
get to when he talks to Beatty and
Yeah,
Bunk and Freeman.
exactly.
Or just Bunk and Freeman,
Yeah.
I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're just like, but just anything to get you out of the basement. It's just like,
Yep.
what a
I know.
dick.
Yeah.
God. Anyway. So maybe she's just pissed about having to eat the murders, you asshole.
Yes.
If you'd been a nicer guy, you wouldn't be dealing with that.
I
But
know.
Anyway, okay. Enough about that.
Okay, well, Kima and Cheryl are stuck in traffic thanks to a young idiot that is talking to some ladies in a car in front of them. And he is on the hood of their car and he's about to moon them until Kima can't take it anymore. She gets out. She bodily removes him from the hood of their car, puts cuffs on him, tells the girls to get the hell out of there. So Kima's still Kima. And I love her for it. But Cheryl is pissed. Cheryl's just like, come on, think about it. You could be a lawyer and yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
But Kima got to Kima. Kima got to dance.
Bitch, drive it or lose it.
I love it.
Yeah.
But Daniels I love this part. He is watching like dog agility on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't notice it on the first watch, but the second watch I turned on the closed captioning.
Okay.
So, and the narrator of the show there is saying like an animal has to follow orders without question, and all dogs have instincts, and you need to surrender to a master, and you could see him just looking and thinking about what his instincts are and surrendering to a like what that means to him, right? And so he's like Kima. There is this other part of him that he wants to go solve crimes.
Mm-hmm.
So he ends up trying to convince Kima to join him. They both say they're going to have a really hard time breaking that news to their partners, getting the consent of their partners. She says, I promised. And Daniel says, well, you could work at the desk like Prez did. And this is where she says, like, I'm not going to stay inside.
Yeah.
If shit goes down.
Yeah.
That's obviously not her. We see that. So, so it's on.
Shit, Lieutenant, I promised.
You think my little woman's gonna give a great big cheer when she hears about it? I was out the damn door.
You don't know Cheryl.
You don't know Marla. Look, if you want, I I could use you inside like we did Prez last year.
If I hear the music, I'm gonna dance. I'll tell your wife if you tell mine.
Yeah, so just to put a button on it, like, who's the master, to go back to the dog announcer or commentator?
Yeah.
Like, who do you think the master is that Daniels is thinking about when he's watching that?
Like, it is, I don't know. Like, I see it as like him looking at two halves of himself.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
where one is like, do the reasonable, rational thing, the thing that your wife wants you to do, the thing that will be better for you in the long term, which is to go take the bar exam and be a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And the other half of himself is like, I love this work, and you know, I want to do this. I want to be a cop. I want to
Mm-hmm.
build my career doing this stuff.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that's what I thought. Who do you think is the master?
You know what? I think that's,
Because I was trying to think about, like, is it Burrell?
Yeah, well, that's where I was
You know,
thinking.
but like, you know, Burrell is the one giving him the opportunity to follow what his instincts are, in my opinion.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't see it that way. Or is Marla? You know, maybe. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, because you're right. I mean, it doesn't really feel like the job is the one that's sort of forcing him to be obedient.
Right.
I mean, there is that sort of level of obedience, not obedience, but like you have to, you know, he disobeyed, or he crossed Burrell before, and that ended up him being in the basement.
Right.
But then Marla comes in and says, "Come to bed," which felt a little you know, it felt like that was driving the point home, is that is he, you know, he can't keep like listening to this side. He's got to follow his instinct. So I don't know. I never picked it up on it before, but I'm kind of, it's got me thinking. I don't know that I have a good answer right now.
I don't know that I do either.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So anyway, but it's certainly I think it's really important that you picked it up, because for other people that are going through this the first time, like if you were just like, oh, he's watching a dog show, and you're like, you know, you might not be picking up on the commentators, but those 3 lines from the commentator are really important, right? They are really hitting a point home. You know what I mean? By saying these 3 lines in a row, it's like obedience that brings out the champion, not only in show dogs. An animal has to follow orders without question.
Yeah.
You need to surrender to a master. Those are like the 3 lines, and it's like, okay, it's Daniel's just staring at it. So anyway, I don't know. I guess I'm trying to figure. Yeah, I think you are on the right track, which is it's his two, the parts of his life that he and Kima are both trying to balance, and you know how you have to, you know, navigate those two sides that are pulling at each other.
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah. Okay. Well. Valchek's opening up a letter at his desk, and we see the surveillance van is in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. He is pissed about that. It's going to keep on moving. I'm excited about that. Daniels comes to meet with Valchek and learn more about Sabatka, and Valchek decides to take him over to the detail along with Greggs and Herc. And they walk in, and it's perfect. Prez is leaning up against a door jamb and says, "What kept you two?"
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been like the perfect ending for this episode even.
Sure.
And, you know, Herc points out that Carver is over in that precinct, district, whatever, and that it would be great to have him. And, you know, basically Daniel says, you know, look, we have to make a drug case or two just to keep everybody happy over here. And who cares? It's better than being in evidence.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited that they're together and they've got a new space, but they still have to break the news to their partners. And so we have this great scene where it's like you're in the middle of a dinner table and the camera's swinging around. And it's a beautiful dinner table with candles and gorgeous food. And, you know, it goes from Kima and Marla and Daniels and Cheryl and Kima and Cheryl and Daniels and Marla, like, and everybody looks unhappy.
Yep.
Everybody looks unhappy. And by the end, Marla gets up and leaves, and Cheryl gets up and leaves. And there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you see scenes like this too often in The Wire.
Yeah.
But when they go for it,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah,
It's
I liked
just great.
it. I liked it. The expressions are fabulous.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, again, I think a typical show,
Yeah.
you'd see more fireworks, you'd see more dialogue.
Yeah.
Instead, they don't do anything.
Nope.
Yeah, so great stuff. I think they're all eating the same meal.
Yes.
Did you notice that?
It does look like
Okay.
it's the same meal, like steamed vegetables.
Yep. Yeah. I saw cornbread. I don't know what the main dish is.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So, okay.
Well, I lied. There is one more thread. Of course, I have to get to BBF. So, yeah, this is the BBF puts pressure on. So here we go. Bunk, Beatty, and Freeman are at the dock. And Beatty gives them a rundown for how things work there and who they're going to need to talk to. But she warns the checkers aren't going to talk to you. It doesn't matter who they are, what color their skin is or whatever. They are not going to talk to you. And, they ask her, how do you make a case then? She's like, I don't make cases, dude. I write tickets. I write reports. That's what I do here. We find out a little bit more about her, which is really interesting, that she used to be, she used to work tolls and she was a toll checker. And, we knew she had 2 kids and no husband, but, you find out here her husband left. She had to find a job that makes more money. And I can't remember what the last line is that Bunk asked. Did you want to be a police or something like that? Yeah. And there's no answer, but this is like, whereas the others wanted to be police officers,
Exactly.
this is for her, a job of necessity. This is her making a living.
Well, I guess if you want to make sure your cargo isn't messed with, you want to get with one of the checkers.
Who are they?
Local 1514. They monitor all the loading and offloading. They match the manifest. They tally the cargo. Nothing goes in or out without them putting it down somewhere.
Or not.
Or not.
So we need to talk to a checker. What?
Black, white, Polish, Irish, Italian, doesn't matter. No one talks to police.
How do you make a case then?
I patrol. I write traffic tickets. We got an open container or a damaged container, I take a report. We got something stolen, I take another report. Someone gets something dropped on them or gets run over by a front-end loader, I keep writing.
That's the job, huh? How long you been on?
2 years.
What'd you do before that?
I took tolls from people at the Fort McHenry tunnel, which I'm happy to say wasn't nearly as much fun. Made 22.5, went home tired every night till I walked by the office bulletin board one night, read the MDOT job posting. Port Authority officers, Schedule 1, starting at 33 with benefits.
Toll taking days were over, huh?
Father of my 2 kids went to Houston in '99. Hasn't so much as called in 3 years. I wasn't gonna make it on 22.5. Not with kids, I wasn't.
Did you want to be a police?
Yeah. Well, she shrugs. She shrugs as
yeah,
an answer.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a little bit to say about this because but as I'm trying not to talk as much. So let me ask, like, what was your reaction to her story? Like, did you, any feelings or anything in particular?
Just respect.
Okay.
Yeah, like, mom's got to do what mom's got to do.
Yeah.
And I love that that her character is like, I can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. What, I have to be police? I'll do it. Whatever I have to do.
Right,
It's
yeah.
just like, you get the sense from her from the beginning, she's pragmatic.
Yeah.
Right. And this is just another pragmatic choice for her.
Yeah. But I think but you said something that you're right. Like, and she takes the job seriously.
Yeah.
Right. I just keep writing. She could just be like, nah.
Yeah.
But no, she just keeps writing and she wants to
Right.
do a good job. So yeah. So that, and she makes that, and she doesn't puff out her chest when she says it. She's just being very matter of fact about it. But, so for me though, in rewatching that today, I was just, Amy Ryan she does such a good job with this. It's not a lot of talking.
Right.
But the way she talks about taking tolls and how her life changed when she found this job. And then, you know, I wasn't going to make it with 2 kids, not on 22.5. I wasn't. And I don't know, there's just, you're just like, your heart just like hurts for it. But, and then of course, like, I think it really drives the point home about why I think she connects with Frank. And the union guys is that, you know, she's in the same kind of, you know, bucket as everybody, you know, as those guys are. So, you know, I just really appreciated that little monologue, and, you know, and I just, of course, like, Wendell Pierce and Clark Peters just like laughing at, you know, like, you know, your Telltale Days were over and stuff like that. I just like that part as well. So, but I think the point also that you make of like, did you even want to be a police? I think there's something really important about that, which is, you know, some people, they feel like it's their calling. It's kind of what I took away from that. Whereas for Beatty,
it's a big deal is made of that for you know, Freeman, for Kima, her story. And, you know, like there's so many of them that they talk about how they knew they wanted to be a cop or what makes them want to be a cop. And she didn't have that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay, well, Bunk and Freeman give Rawls the update. Say they basically need to know more about what's happening at the terminal. And Rawls is just being an asshole. He's like, well, you should have held the ship. And if you don't solve this case, you know, if I need to have a scapegoat, I'm going to tell them basically that you guys fucked it up and this is how. Wow. These are his guys. Like, why does anybody want to work for him? Oh my God. I just would be like, put me in a different department. Thank you.
I mean, I mean, it's incredible. Like, this is your motivational.
Exactly. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Or, you know, you're going to be screwed.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let him screw you.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much. Yeah. It's crazy that, I mean, you're just watching this. You're like, why do you have to go there? Like, you don't even have to say that explicitly.
I know.
So anyway, and he's not even giving him an answer about like, Colonel, what were we supposed to do? And he's like, I don't care. And it's not telling him how to do the job. He's just like, you should have done more stuff. Anyway. But yeah. And it just makes my blood boil hearing Rawls talk like that. But anyway.
Let's see here. They go back to the docks and you hear whistling happening.
Mm-hmm.
And Beatty tells them it's a warning that basically they're there. The cops are there. They go up to Horseface and they say they want to talk to him because he was the checker for the Atlantic Light. And they want to take him downtown. But Horseface knows his rights. And so he's like, you gonna arrest me? You know? And I think like, oh, he's real smart for a fact. I can't remember what they say exactly. Something like that. Pretty rude. We see Frank coming out.
Go ahead.
Okay. He hits Ziggy over the head and it's just like, you know, oh, I can't believe you were involved with that. And again, you see the other whistle. Or hear the whistle happening again. Frank looks up, and that's when he sees that there's the cops over there.
What's with the whistles?
It's for us.
Yeah?
Yeah, they marked us the moment we stepped out of the car. That's him.
So that's Horseface? How'd you get that name?
You need a close-up?
Thomas Bakusa.
Yeah?
I need to talk to you about something.
What?
You were the checker working the Atlantic Light when it docked a couple of weeks back, right?
If you say so.
You remember that container that came off that day? With all the dead girls?
No.
You don't remember all them dead girls in a can? Come on, horse.
I remember when you found them all in the stacks. I don't remember that they came off the Atlantic Light.
All right, let's take a ride downtown. Clear this mess up.
No.
Get the fuck in the car.
Am I locked up?
Get in the damn car.
You want me in that car, you need to lock me up. And if that's the way it's going to be, then I want to talk to my shop steward. And he can have an IBS lawyer go with me.
So, did you want to share anything before I go into Dolores's?
Yeah, but no, for this one, there were a couple of things about this. So the first thing, why is he called Horseface? You need a close-up.
Exactly. You need
Jeez. You know, God, Beatty. So mean.
I know, it's so mean.
And then the scene has one of my favorite like artistic moves of the entire series.
What's that?
So Horseface is on the left.
Yeah.
And Bunk and Freeman say, okay, let's take a ride downtown.
Yes.
And they all start walking back to the car and Horseface says no. and the camera is moving and it moves back.
Yes. Yes.
I love that. I don't know. It's just really smart. And of course, Horseface hasn't moved at all.
Right.
Oh, and just to back up a little bit, the part that of course is so interesting is he is giving answers that are impossible to refute.
Right.
Right.
Yes, exactly. I didn't know that I didn't know there were dead girls in there until you found.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't remember them coming off. I don't remember being the checker.
It was the checker for the
exactly.
Atlantic Light.
And so that part is really good. And then of course he just like throws down, here's what's going to happen if you're going to take me in.
Yep. I'm going to get the union lawyer and all that.
Yeah. So, and of course, it just reminds me again, we talked about this a little bit, and I have to admit, I was thinking ahead when D'Angelo got picked up by Bunk and McNulty in episode 2.
Yep.
I'm like, why didn't he object and say, "What? Do you have a charge or anything?" And of course, this is exactly what you would see is like, what are my rights and so on and so forth. And then finally, so then here's a different question. Frank's discussion with Ziggy is not a discussion. It's just I'm going to smack you and threaten you. And why? What do you think is happening? Why does he treat Ziggy that way and not Nick? Like where Nick, like that conversation with Nick had all kinds of.
Yeah, I know. He has so much more respect for Nick.
Yeah,
and I think he just sees Zig as like a, immature, impulse control little boy.
Yeah.
Right? And can't see him in a different way.
Yeah.
Probably well earned.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Zig has done a billion different things, but
right.
I don't know. Yeah. It's an automatic just smack over the head.
Yeah.
But part of it too, it's like, it's a little, what I'm going to say, it's like, it's also kind of an easy way to let Zig off too, to just slap him over the head and not have a conversation and let him know how he's disappointed and the ramifications of what he's done and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just kind of like, I'm just gonna smack you and be done with it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, we're parents, and I definitely feel like it's easy to carry previous times, and you're spending, especially when they're young, you spend all this time with them and you develop these relationships with these kids, and you have to be very aware of that, your child is not who they were 2 years ago or 1 year ago or last week even or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, but you have to be very present and kind of aware of like what your tendencies are in those, in that regard. So,
yes.
I don't know. I guess that was my read on.
Yeah,
it,
like he's stuck in like old ways of handling his son.
Yeah,
disciplining his son.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was just, I was kind of curious to know what you thought about that. It definitely felt like on brand, but I also thought the line of I don't care who your mother is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
I don't care.
Like why does that?
How many women has he been with is like what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like, how many kids by different mothers do you have?
Yeah, well, I just read it as like, why not say like I don't care that I'm your dad. It's
yes,
a very,
I know. It was it's a way to
interesting-
distance yourself from that person.
That's it. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, like
huh.
Maybe
that's what it is too.
I know.
That's interesting.
I
okay.
don't like it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't like it.
So there was not a long scene, but I felt like there was a lot in there that I wanted to cover. So okay.
Well, Punk, Beatty, and Freeman come into Dolo's, and they eyeball Horseface.
Mm-hmm.
They are basically like passive aggressive pests with their cigar smoking and their malingering and dead eye stares at everybody. They blow smoke in everyone's faces.
Mm-hmm.
Bunk takes Horseface's jukebox choice, which I love, actually. And then they go and stand. Well, Beatty goes over to Frank first. And Frank's like, hey. And then suddenly, Bunk and Freeman are there. And they tell Frank that they're from Homicide. And they also tell him that the dead girls was no accident.
Mm-hmm.
And Frank gets up and he leaves in that moment, and he goes into the bathroom, and that scene where he is just splashing water on his face and the way he looks at himself in the mirror is it's just such a fine bit of acting.
Yep.
My God, it's just his expression is excellent. I mean, he for a moment looks like a scared little boy.
Yeah.
For a long moment,
Mm-hmm.
really. And I'm just like, oh my God, he is terrified, piss in his pants, terrified right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you see him like It takes a while. He composes himself,
Yeah.
but just like what he's revealing just in his like little face trembles right there. Damn, that's some acting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so good. And then, you know, that last scene, he kind of exits the bathroom and then he passes by this photo. I guess there's stevedores on
Yeah.
a ship. I don't really know what's going on. I
Mhm.
tried to do a reverse image search on that photo. I could not find anything.
Okay.
But,
Wow.
but I did just think that was interesting and just kind of made me think like there's like this legacy, like this weight of all of this history of this group, and it's going to disappear, and
Yeah.
it's all on him.
Yeah.
And now he's in this moment where, oh shit, it's happening.
Yep.
Yeah. What a way to end.
I mean, yeah, 100%.
It
So
was great.
I totally agree. So I'll just share this here. So I mentioned Alan Sepinwall probably once per episode, but he talked about Chris Bauer in particular. So he said, I haven't had a chance to really sing the praises of Chris Bauer as Frank Sabaka, but this is an especially strong episode for him between the opening scene where he tells off Nick, and again reiterates that he's not doing any of this for personal gain, and then the closing where he studies his reflection in the grubby bar mirror and realizes what he's becoming and what he's invited into his world.
Yes.
So you got it, of course. I felt like an authority on the subject.
Yeah, no.
Just backs up what you're saying. But yeah, you're right. Like, I mean, he is he is delivering all of it. Now, my question to you is, do you think he's feeling scared about being caught? Was that your interpretation?
I think my interpretation is that he has sacrificed so much to try to let this line of work hang on by a thread.
Yeah.
And now I don't think he's as much scared for himself and his role, but like everything that he's sacrificed for this moment is going to be for naught, and it's going to be on him.
Okay.
That's what I think. I mean, I'm sure that there's like also the terror that he is personally going to be in trouble too.
Yeah.
But I think it's more just the weight of all of that.
Okay. No, that was mine as
You
well.
think
Like,
that
I mean,
too? Yeah.
I think for him it was more like, or sorry, just the one maybe thing I would add as a possibility. You know, we're all just interpreting, but to know that it was an accident,
right,
is kind of one thing where you can kind of separate yourself and you're like, well, okay, you know, I'm not happy about it, but I didn't put the girls on the ship and then it just bad luck. And then to know that they were murdered, now you're like, who am I in bed with? You know, and by being in bed with them, I am now kind of connected in responsibility.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, a little bit closer anywhere, like the people he shaking hands with or whatever are responsible for this.
Yeah.
Of course, because they don't tell him any of the detail. That is, Bunk and Freeman don't tell him any of the details about what happened.
Right.
Just that they were murdered.
Yes.
And so he doesn't know who is responsible and who would do that kind of thing. So anyway, but as you said, like that's the beauty of a performance like that is you get to speculate and decide
what
for
does
yourself.
That look mean?
Yeah. So, yep. Great way to close. And of course, like the picture of the stevedores at the end. So
yes. So good.
All right. Well, that gets us to the end. I think that covers everything.
It is.
So
that's going to be all of it.
So I made a big deal about wanting to ask you a question, and I completely forgot the question to ask
shit.
you. So,
oh my gosh,
I know.
Chris.
I interrupted you and everything. Well, here we are. So, see, I waited to not interrupt you. All right. So just
now you lost your thread.
No, I got it now. So to rewind.
Yeah.
So McNulty says to Bunk, "I never lost him, my friend." Right.
Yeah.
Why do you think McNulty says that? He told Daniels last week in the last episode, I haven't a clue where Omar is.
Yeah.
So why do you think McNulty says that?
I think he says it to save face.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that when he did it before, it was like could be interpreted as I do know, I'm just not telling you.
Mm-hmm.
And so here he's like I do know until we find out that he doesn't know.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Okay.
Yeah, just to save face, to make it seem like he's kept tabs.
Yeah.
On
Okay.
Omar.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think that's it. I mean, for a while, the first couple of episodes when Bunk kept asking about where Omar was and he needs Omar, I was like, McNulty is pushing him off
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to reveal that he doesn't know. He wants to pretend like he still has all this information. He has the information and that he still has value to this case.
Yes.
So, and so I feel like the same thing kind of applies, is that, okay, I'm going to, so it was really more about, I don't know if he's just trying to still hang on to that little bit of control that he has, or maybe he knew that he was going to have to chase him, track him down, which is what he does, right?
Yeah.
That's what he's good at. So, okay. Just wanted to get your interpretation on that.
Okay.
So, because we're going to continue on. So, okay. Well, that gets us to the end. And now we talked a little bit about music. I did want to just cover one other song.
Okay.
The song that Bunk plays in the Dolos is Maybe the Last Time by James Brown and the Famous Flames.
Yeah.
Did you recognize that song?
Well, now that you say that, yes.
Okay. Again, not a lot of, I don't know that there's a ton of symbolism to it, but I just thought that was kind of interesting. And then, all right, so the killer cameos. So we talked about Kevin Reynolds a lot, Leslie Elliard, but he was in the last episode, so he's disqualified. I was thinking the woman in the church who was explaining the the situation. Yeah. I think she was making pierogies, for whatever that's worth.
Yes, it did look like she was making pierogies. Saw her toss those, thinking that as she pushed them into the boiling water. So but those were good.
Yep. Yeah. The father comes in.
Yeah.
That was hilarious, and he's like just nods knowingly. Okay. But I wanted to give it to Pops, and I'm calling her Moms. I don't know what her actual name is, but the two people from the shooting gallery, they are like
yes,
really good.
Yes, very good.
Like,
agreed.
Oh man, I mean they are really selling it. So,
they are.
Yeah. So those are the two people I wanted to give it to. So good job.
Those are good.
Good job, friends. And then we talked about Stringer and economics. So not all the callbacks. I think we've kind of covered all those. So that gets us to the end. Okay. So any thoughts on? I mean, we've been asking this like the episode holding up. It definitely doesn't. I'm not sure that it's still relevant, but like anything in particular you feel like is still relevant today, or possibly more so.
Nothing coming to mind.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just the nature of technology continuing to progress forward.
Yeah.
We're now living in the age of AI. I have yet to see AI play a big role in terms of taking people's jobs, but nevertheless, like it's certainly like technology continues on its unabated pace.
Yep.
And so who knows what's going to get left behind, but we are seeing the beginnings of it, right? I mean,
correct.
With the digital camera kind of leading into whatever else. So, okay, well that covers that. So let's get into.
Oh, one thing I will mention too. It's like I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times you hear about informants, and because people talk in prison, and it feels to me like the less and less weight is put nowadays on informant testimony or like information from people who have been incarcerated with others.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it seems to me like that is, they consider it like the least reliable kind of evidence.
Really?
Yeah. But that seems very different than in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that it just from what I've heard seems like that the tides have turned on that, and it is not seen as trustworthy or as useful or like even good practice to get that.
Huh. Is it informant or eyewitness?
Yeah, I think like a little bit of both, or like, I maybe, in the cases where they're like, well, yeah, he told me that he actually did murder her and that kind of stuff. And a lot of times it's because, they have this incentive to get the time shaved off.
Sure.
That time has shown that is not as reliable of a source of information.
Interesting.
So there you go. That's my 2 cents.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. So I guess like they use the informant to know to search Tillman's car, and then the drugs are found in Tillman's car. So they weren't making it just, they were getting essentially.
Right.
In fact,
there was still evidence, but yeah.
So, but there's an interesting question to ask, which is like, if you're getting the testimony from a prisoner,
right,
then they should be unreliable.
They're incentivized by having their time shaved off of their sentences.
I mean, I mean
it's
that's
concerning.
and of course it's what we talked about before, which is you should just take the bus to work if you're a
Right.
correctional
Oh my
officer.
God,
because if
seriously.
but otherwise, because they could have planted that on anybody and it would have essentially gotten the same result, I would think.
Yep.
So, and I mean, so that brings us actually to a Mr. Nuggets life lesson, which is like, don't get in a fight with a drug kingpin. It's probably not just,
Exactly.
don't
Don't make an enemy of a drug kingpin.
Yeah, don't be, yes, exactly. Yeah, don't be willfully antagonistic.
Yes.
Did you have any other life lessons besides?
I don't think that I mean, don't take a picture of your dick. Like, that's bad.
Now
I totally
digital,
agree. That's forever, okay?
Yeah.
Ziggy, that's forever.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. No, I don't understand. I mean, we're well past that, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I don't think that the life lesson comes from this one, but I don't know. Maybe there should be one later that's just listen to your damn wife. But we're not getting that from this episode.
No, you're definitely not. I had two. You called it out, which is know your rights.
Okay, yes.
Don't go with the police unless they
Yeah.
they are actually detaining you, and
Yeah.
they have to have a reason to detain you. So don't be a jerk, but
Right.
don't but don't
stand
just
up
go
for
don't
what your
play
rights are.
along just
Sure.
just because they're asking you to. Chardine didn't suffer any consequences, but
Yes,
she should
that's
not have gone
right.
with them. So
Yep.
anyway, that was that. But I love Daniel saying, like, when you have leverage, take it as far as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you know you've got leverage
Yeah.
on somebody, then do everything you
what you
can.
can
I mean,
get,
that's the
yeah.
thing is, like, he basically is setting himself up for success
Yeah.
based on this opportunity.
Right.
So, hey, good for him. And he went for it. He knew that he didn't have anything to lose, right? He's like, well, I'm out the door.
Yep.
So if you don't give me everything I want and you need me, then I'm out the door. I don't have to do this anymore.
Yep.
So, and just that one thing I didn't mention at the time, but hearing you could really hear energy in him when he's talking about the case and
sure.
who cares if we make a case?
Yeah.
And let's just be glad that we're not in this terrible situation anymore. So yeah, so those are the two life lessons I had. I think. Oh, but I did want to mention they were Frank and I'm forgetting his name. We're talking about Big Daddy Lipscomb, who played for the Colts, and he played on played on the left side.
Right.
So I think not Frank, the other guy was right. So I just want to mention that. Okay, well that takes us to the end of the episode. So let's get your predictions.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I don't know. So
Now you have to have 6, and you have to go 5 for 6.
It does not make sense to me that Avon would get out and Dee stays behind in prison. Because what's going to happen to Dee just staying in prison? His story doesn't keep going. So, like, I don't know. I wonder if does he tell them Avon did it or something? I don't know. I think maybe Dee, or at least Dee, wrestles with possibly telling on Avon to keep him in prison.
Okay.
Okay. And then I think Nick and Ziggy find the chemicals in Fairfield. I don't think they get them out of there yet, but they work on that.
Okay.
We are going to get more information on the Jane Doe. The Russian cook in the Catholic Church is going to Hungarian cook in the Catholic Church is going to have more information for us about that.
Okay.
I don't think Omar goes to Jimmy yet, but he does get the message from Bubs. Bubs is going to be okay, but he is going to convey that message to Jimmy.
Okay.
Okay.
So he gets the message to Jimmy
Yep.
via Bubs. Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Mhm.
And let me see here. Let's see. I got to think about this for
So there's Elena and McNulty if you want
Elena
that
and
one. If you want to go down
McNulty.
that
Oh,
road.
okay.
There's anything else there? Let's see. You've got.
No, I don't think anything happens on Elena and McNulty
Okay.
yet.
Anything with Frank? Anything more with Frank?
Yeah, I think so because now these guys, they're putting BBF is putting the pressure on everybody there. So somebody's got to start talking to him. They're not going to be able to handle that anymore. So I wonder if Frank goes downtown.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say Frank goes downtown and starts talking.
Okay. That's 5. So I mean, that,
Okay.
if you want to, if you're at the end. That's a good number.
Okay, I'm just wondering if anything happens with the detail.
Okay.
Is my
that's
only other thing is but I can't figure out what would happen here.
Okay.
I know that they have to get something.
I mean, stuff's gonna happen. You don't have to go. You don't have to
All
go
right.
further than that.
Stuff's gonna happen.
I mean,
let's just say that. I think they see they see or get a beat something shady happening at the docks.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
I don't know what.
Okay. A beat on something she.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm starting to see how things are converging
Yeah.
because now we've got BBF at the docks, and now we have the detail is going to be focused on what's happening at the docks. So this is going to bring them together, and Freeman is going to be working over with the detail, and so now Bunk and Beatty have to work right without Freeman at the docks. So yeah, like stuff's coming together. I'm very excited about this.
Okay.
I'm very, very excited about this.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, again, so, I mean, we're really asking you to put 6 predictions together. That's asking a lot.
That's
so if
asking
you,
a
if
lot,
you ever wanted
man.
to do
That's
4,
a
you're like, I just did 4. It's 4 this time. Okay. Well, anyway. All right. Well, that gets us to the end. So we will see how all those play out.
I'm excited.
When we cover season 2, episode 5, Undertow. All right. Well, Ellie, as always, thank you. But wait.
What?
Will the van get one more bumper sticker?
Yes, hell yes,
Okay.
it will. Hell yes,
Okay.
it will.
So most important question. Okay,
Yes.
one more bumper sticker for that. One more bumper sticker.
For sure.
Okay, cool. Okay, well that brings us to the end. Okay. So Ellie, as always, thank you so much for an excellent episode.
My pleasure.
All right.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, and we will see you all next week.
Bye, everybody.
The Wired and Rewired podcast is Ellie Peterson and me, Chris Aronchek. Our theme song is Nice Vibes by Neon Beach. Want to holler at us? You can email us at wiredandrewired@gmail.com or hit us on the burner at 240-488-0060 to leave us a voicemail. We're Wired and Rewired on all the socials. And of course, if you like the show, please give us a rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. It helps other Wire fans discover the show. And until next time.
Driving for losers.